Welcome back for our third session of Whole and Broken Tablets. In our last session, we saw the rabbis delving into the pains and indignities of old age. I doubt anyone was surprised to see ancient authors, including some who were likely growing old themselves, describing how our bodies grow weaker as we age. More surprising, at least to me, is the brief moment in the Midrash when the rabbis shift our attention from our bodies to our souls. The soul in old age is compared to the moon darkening. What does it mean for our souls also to lose their light as we age? I hope you had some great conversations about it. And if not, it's never too late. Chazara, relearning sources to find new insights and deeper interpretations, is a highly valued practice in Rabbinic Judaism. With session 3, we enter a more mixed register, looking at texts that attend both to the challenges and the benefits of growing older. We're going to focus specifically on the question of aging and wisdom. On the one hand, wisdom is one of the relatively few positive tropes about old age that's common in our current culture. The elderly are repositories of insight, bearers of ancient tradition, made wise through their greater life experience. Yet we also know that old age is a time, at least for many, of diminished mental capacities. Even aside from those who suffer from dementia, we all know, and many of us feel, that as we get older, it gets harder both to remember things and to learn new ideas. This is the tension between later life as a time of wisdom and also a moment of declining mental abilities that we'll explore with our next round of learning. For me, this tension is very personal. When I was a rabbinical student, I had a very dear teacher who worked in the Beit Midrash where I studied, helping students when they got stuck on a difficult passage. He was a Holocaust survivor, in his 80s at the time, and in one of those coincidences that you would think happen only in movies, he was one of the very few survivors from the small shtetl where my own father had grown up. He'd been an acquaintance of my grandfather. I looked to Rabbi Shapiro, now of blessed memory, as more than just a teacher. He was, on the one hand, a walking library, a repository of ideas and texts that he'd acquired in his head over a lifetime of learning. He was also a storyteller who had an anecdote to relate to and deepen whatever I might have been learning that day. And he was an embodiment of a pre-Holocaust world of learning that most of us will never get to know. He was, in other words, a paragon of wisdom, insight, and experience. And I was sad to see his ability to recall and explain difficult passages weaken over the years. The last time I saw him, I was deeply conflicted, as I could still see the sage I had known, but I was also keenly aware that much of his wisdom was no longer accessible, not to him and not to his students. I was experiencing what a text in this session describes as a metaphor for the sage who forgets his Torah. The original set of tablets of the Ten Commandments, which Moshe threw to the ground, according to tradition, lie in the Holy Ark alongside the second unbroken tablets. When we learn from someone who is blessed with wisdom, but who can no longer fully access it, we experience both the whole and the broken tablets side by side. Our texts engage with this beautiful and often heartbreaking tension in a number of ways. A Mishnah from Tractate Avos contrasts the role of the elder as learner with their role as teacher, while a Talmudic passage asks whether old age is, in and of itself, worthy of respect, or only when it is accompanied by wisdom and good deeds. We'll also see a fascinating text in which a son struggles to reconcile the teachings he received from his father in his youth with his father's changed opinion in old age. When our elders change their mind, does it reflect the growing wisdom of experience, or is it a manifestation of a mind weakened by age, teaching a Torah at odds with the core values of the person they once were? These are the questions I hope you and your chavrusa will get into as you learn these sources, challenging our own assumptions and bringing greater nuance to our thinking about what it means to get older and wiser.